About to make me get on my Barry White.
Let me find out.
Yo, for real, man.
Yeah.
It's always good to get up with you, Sight, man.
No doubt.
How's everything, brother?
Blessings, man. Just blessings. I can't even complain at all.
That's what's up, man. Every time we get together, man, it's always like a positive situation, man. Even when we talk, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
We're always rooted in that, man.
Yeah.
Like, what's the thing that inspires you to be like that?
I just feel, positivity will change your life. And I really feel like, if we can have more love and base more things on the foundation of love, everybody would be a lot better.
That's right.
And like I said, on my quest to start my DJ thing, the first two people that shouted me out one was DJ Khaled, and the other one was DJ Battlecat, which is my fam. But DJ Khaled doesn't even understand what he said when he said they don't want you to win. They, and his book actually, shout out to DJ Khaled, because his book to me is the Millennials 48 Laws of Power.
There you go.
I feel like, you can pick up that and get a lot of keys from there that you need to use in your everyday life because it's rooted in positivity.
All day.
So I just feel like, man, positivity is just a way of life. It should be a way of life,
It keeps the stress off you.
Please believe it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps the stress off you. And it also allows you to create, in a different way. You're not coming
Exactly.
from, I'm a stressed out person trying to create, if you keep that positive energy.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think happens when some people will even be like, yo, Dave, you're a little too happy, man. You're a little too mad.
Right. I'll tell you something, like it was crazy because my daughter was doing a project in school. And her teacher told her, write a paragraph on what you want to be when you grow up. So she just wrote happy. Wow. So when I got to the school, she came out and she was crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she was like, well, I didn't get to do Fun Friday. I'm like, why? She said, because I didn't do my assignment right. So I'm like, well, why didn't you do it right? She was like, well, I thought I did it right, but I didn't do it right. So I'm like, let me go talk to the teacher. So I'm like, what was the assignment? He said, well, I don't think she understood what I was trying to tell her to do. And I was like, what did you tell her to do? He said, write a paragraph on what you wanted to be when you grow up. I said, well, what did she write? And he said, she just wrote happy.
Wow.
And I said, nah, she understood. I said, you just don't understand life. I learned from all different type of walks of life, all different types of people. And I think if you just stick to that same routine, that same, assembly line, it's hard to differentiate who's who and what's what.
My goodness, man.
So
that's the realest ever.
Yeah.
One of the things that you just mentioned is the fact that you're a dad hands-on. You're going to the school, you're talking to the teachers, you're with the kids all the time.
Absolutely.
You even kind of put your career on hold to a degree to be there for the kids. And how hard of or easy of a decision was that?
It, like you just said, it was a hard and easy decision, meaning that when you do something like that, you kind of don't know from the material aspect of it, financially and things like that, you really don't know what's going to pan out or what's going to happen. But I just had to really put my faith in God and know that I was doing the right thing, which is, to me, not worrying about what I can have or what I can get, but the man that I was becoming, And a crazy situation, again, with my daughter, when she was first born, I had flew to Chicago, maybe a week after she was born, to work with R. Kelly. And when I came back 2 weeks later, they came and picked me up from the airport, and I picked my daughter up and she just started crying like she didn't know me. Wow. You know what I mean? So I didn't never want that feeling again.
That was the ultimate turn.
That was it.
That was the ultimate turn.
That was it.
What have you learned during the time of, just enriching yourself with the experience of becoming a hands-on dad in that way?
I learned so much from them. I learned that I can't really live vicariously through them, but I can teach them how to think, not what to think. And understand that they their own little people.
They real
you know
people,
what I mean?
Especially at the ages now. I know, man. I got 3.
So it's like, they their own little people, so you have to recognize that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And because we all kind of grew up in that era, stay in the child's place. You know what I mean? It is.
You know
what
I
mean? Yeah.
Ducking belts.
Exactly. Switches. No
Switches,
pick.
all
Yeah,
that.
for real. So to break that mentality, to understand that, no, I have to be stern sometimes, but I also have to be a friend at times too.
How has it affected your creative push? How has, you're not in the mix as much? So you're not in the club trying to see what's going on, but you're still a super intuitive person on the keys and all of that stuff. How's that changed for you?
I think creatively it's just something that is just in my DNA. So when I get inspired, that's when I do my best work. I don't have to touch a keyboard or a piano for years. If I get inspired to do it, it's gonna be like I never stop. Yeah.
It's on.
So that's a gift. And
Yeah.
also to be mentally stable and strong is a gift. Most people don't recognize that. So you can look at something somebody else is going through and be like, well, I did it, why can't you do it? You know what I mean? Like, I came from the same place, why can't you do it? But we have to understand it's a gift. We have a gift that we possess. And that's something that if you look at it that way, I feel like you can deal with people, places, and things a lot better.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The gift aspect is like people recognizing their gift, and that's the hardest thing for people to do. I remember Jay-Z was saying everyone is naturally gifted at something. It's just that you got to find out what it is, and I'm sure other people have said it, but it's like when Jay said it, it's like
Right,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, oh, Jay-Z said
Because
it.
they got to recognize they self first. You got to recognize yourself first. That's the first thing you got to do.
Yeah,
And able to hone that gift, you got to know who you are at some point. You know, because a lot of people, I feel like, are going through this world and dying not knowing who they was.
that's so true.
And
man.
I think that's sad. You
But
know
how do
what
you
I'm saying?
maintain your mental capacity to be like, it's okay that I'm not out there right now. It's okay that my past wins, they don't necessarily define me and my future is there. Because a lot of times I think people defeat themselves in the mental aspect before they even try anything. You know?
Because they getting caught up because we live in a social media era now.
There we go.
So you seeing a portrait of what only people portray.
Yeah.
You seeing people's highlight reels and you trying to base them behind your behind the scenes. You can't do that. Nobody has skipped the struggle, but they like to make it look like they skipped the
no
struggle.
doubt. This is easy street. When
Exactly.
I'm doing this is nothing.
It's I mean, the beautiful struggle is that's what I call it. So everybody's went through something.
Yeah.
So you just have to understand that. And then I think it goes back to understanding who you are.
Right.
You know, if you know who you are, it's like time is one thing, yeah, you can't get it back, right? But I really feel like if you're patient enough, all things are gonna come to you in due time.
Oh, no
Just
question.
do the work. Just do the work.
Just do the work. And once again, it comes back to that positive energy, making sure that when it's time for you to receive your blessings, that you don't have all that negative stuff around
Exactly.
you.
Because
Well,
I'm not gonna lie, I went through doubt.
Yeah.
You know, things of like, well, you know, I haven't been doing it for a minute. Like, you know, some people will make you feel like you're not the one like that. But it's like when you know who you are, you just kind of brush that off and you keep pushing.
And you understand
know?
your talent.
Exactly.
The
And
one
don't
thing-
never give up.
Yeah.
Don't never give up. Don't keep grinding.
Yeah.
That's something my bro Eric taught me. Just keep grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. Eventually, it's gonna work out for
Eventually, Oliver Stone talks to you about your jacket.
you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but let's jump into that, man.
Yeah.
You just came back from New York. You were nominated for a Gotham Award for your series. And this is the series that you and your wife put together.
Reagan Gomez.
Yes,
she
indeed.
it was a thought in her head, and she wrote it, directed, and I executive produced it and did the music for it. And then we just had a great team.
Yeah.
Our team was amazing. You know what I mean? Shout out to David and Mayan and Brandon and all those people. Everybody that we had collectively that came together to make that synergy work.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable. So when we did it, we knew we did something great. We just, you know, it wasn't connecting in the way. Like that's one of those things where doubt can kick in. We put it on YouTube. Sometimes you can set expectations, but expectations to me, you gotta just kind of push them to the side and just let God work, you know? And because when we put it on YouTube, we didn't really get the numbers like that, but there we got nominated for a Gotham Award. So
crazy.
it was insane to me.
So
And,
you go to the awards and it's all these.
oh man, it's Natalie Portman. I mean, anybody you can name, they all there, and they're celebrating indie creators.
Right.
And you know, you got people like Oliver Stone saying, "Do you know, continue to do that. Tell your stories." You know what I mean? Because one day I hope to work with one of you. And so they understand that they're pushing the future forward, meaning that they're looking and having vision and saying, one of you guys in this room,
Somebody's
you know,
gonna be
just
there.
like the guy that did Moonlight.
Yeah.
He was there. He told his story. He was there 6 years prior to when we just went. And he brought an indie film that he didn't win the award, and didn't do nothing for that whole 6 years. So Moonlight was his first movie coming back.
Wow.
And now he's winning.
Look at him.
They won like 4 Gotham Awards that night.
And they're talking Oscar buzz and all of that good stuff, man.
Exactly.
It says a lot about what you said, like that extra grind. Just keep going. One of the things that you're known for is being a child prodigy, pretty much. Michael Jackson signed you at a very young age.
Yeah.
Did you see like his work ethic and his habits that everyone always talks about? Because you definitely work closely
I did,
with
and what was so crazy, Dave, was that, I got to see it in a different way. Like, he has a movie theater, right? And inside the movie theater, you wouldn't know, but it's a wall. But if you push this wall, it opens into a dance studio. And in the dance studio, it has a drum set in the corner. And he went and just started playing the drums. I didn't even know he can lock like that.
Yo.
And that's where I started in church with the drums. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Mike
Mike
over there
getting
locking.
busy. And people don't really know that.
They don't know that. And so I was just like, man, I can play. He's
Yeah.
like, you can play? I'm like, yeah. So he handed me the sticks and he was just like, do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can lock that. But when he started dancing,
wow.
I couldn't look at him or I would have lost the groove because it was so unreal. But he was sweating.
Yeah.
I mean, for an hour straight, I was locking. I was sweating, he was sweating.
It's
and he
the
just
work.
looked back after he was done. I was like, I can't believe you can play like that.
Wow.
I said, man, I couldn't even look at you dancing. I would have lost everything. But he spent that hour honing his craft. Like, we would watch movies like Snake in the Grass. And I'm giving something away, but this is for people to go look up.
Yeah.
If you look up a movie called Snake in the Grass, you might see some moves that Mike do from this one cat. So basically, he will watch great people, study them, and become greater.
Right.
That's who he was. He was a scientist.
Yeah.
You know?
But he saw something in you.
Yeah.
And what do you think he saw? Or what did he express?
He told me, he gave me the name Golden Child and Applehead. And I didn't know where Golden Child came from.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but him and Eddie was cool. So maybe
So it could have been the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he just related to me. People forget that Mike is from Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
So I was
That's
from
the
the hood
hood.
too.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was around too many hood kids. And I just kept it whatever. You know what I mean? So
but
it
even
was,
your partner wasn't.
Nah, he was from Australia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he came from a whole different lifestyle. And I think Mike just resonated with me synergy-wise. I think we had a connection that was like different. And he was like, man, you really got talent. Like, you got it.
Right.
And that was, at the time, I was young, so I didn't really, but now when I think about it, I'm like, wow. You know what I mean?
It's kind of hard as well when you have the talent, but then you also have the looks that all these big fashion houses want from you. And a lot of times people are like, oh, models. People wouldn't know that you were super, music prodigy.
Right.
Just because you're taking photos.
Right, yeah.
So
and back then, you're talking about 93, 94, it wasn't cool to be a rapper and a model.
Yo.
That wasn't, even though we was still, rappers would still fly with the gear, but we was taking houses like Louis Vuitton and making our own thing with it. It wasn't really mainstream, like rocking it like that.
Right.
So I think it was groundbreaking because at first I was hesitant, but then I wasn't afraid. So if we look back, I was probably one of the first people to ever do it, to come from rap and really do modeling at a high fashion level.
Yeah.
You know what
because
I mean?
everyone at that time, they were pretty much putting Tyson Beckford and yourself at that level.
Right.
And you gotta think, what, Versace,
Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, you name it, Polo.
All of that.
Yeah.
And what was that experience like living in that world? How different is that from music?
I appreciated that because it took me around the world. Like, I got to go to Paris for the first time. I got to go to London. And modeling world it's a lot different because it's just, I had to just learn all it is learning what the client wants. So once I get there, if I have logos on, I notice where the logos are at. I know how to pose it so we can get it done really quick. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And but the two worlds are different in the way that modeling is just kind of like you have to have this presence without being moving. So you have to be a
Comes from here.
yeah, it's
like,
really all in the eyes and in your face and how you can convey to people. Like basically, if I'm rocking it, somebody else is like, I need that.
Yep.
I gotta have that.
You got to exude that without saying it.
Exactly. It's just gotta
That's
be in you.
crazy.
Yeah.
What about the new music, man? I know the modeling thing may come back up, but the music is always in you. What's going on with that new music? Because it seemed like that piece you was playing, I had never heard it before.
Oh, that was just a little something.
That was a little
I was
something.
playing around.
That was a
That
little-
wasn't nothing serious. But the music is, I'm actually, I'm gonna gear up to do an album. I'm doing the DJ thing as well. I'm going to do a compilation album with different artists with me just producing the music. Then I'll do my own solo artist album as well as a solo artist. So look out for the music day.
It's serious.
I'm inspired right now.
That's good, man.
That means trouble for a lot of people.
It
but
does,
I'm
man.
inspired right now.
That means the people are going to get some good stuff.
Believe that.
Because you did the music for Surviving, and that, I'm sure, kind of bleeds into your personal projects and everything. Well, what do you think of the climate right now for music as far as like hip hop and R&B?
I like where music is at.
Yep.
Everybody
Everybody says, before, but now you're starting to hear people saying, hey, I like what's happening.
I like where music is at. I think that, all music is good music.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you look at it. It might not be your taste, it might not be that person's taste, but I feel like creativity is creativity. You have to look at it like art. I might not like every Picasso painting, but the one I didn't like maybe sell for 180 million. You know what I'm saying? So my opinion doesn't necessarily matter. I think it's all about the feeling.
Yeah.
If you can extract feeling out of somebody else through your music, and that's what a lot of these young cats are doing right now with their music, with the young kids. They're striking some type of feeling or fun or whatever that is, and then but I do feel like it needs to be options.
Yep.
So I like when you have a J. Cole or a Kendrick Lamar or certain people who are still, got that Tribe wave still going. Then you have Tribe put out
They
an
just
album.
put out that crazy
You feel
album.
me? So it's one of those things that we relate to.
It sticks to us.
And we need it. You know
We
what I mean?
needed that.
Exactly. So it feels good, but then the kids get to hear it too as well. Just like my daughter loves Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she wouldn't know about it if I didn't play it.
Yeah.
So I play it and she's like, wait, a lot of these people trying to be like Michael Jackson.
There you go. She's starting to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the internet's there now, so they can do their history.
Yep.
But I feel like anything authentic is gonna work. But I love all music, Day.
That's what's up.
I support everybody.
That's
all
what's
love.
up. That's
Yeah.
what's up. So, man, I guess we could take it out with you playing on the keys again, man. Same way.
I'm gonna do because shout out to Dr. Dre, man. 'cause
All right.
He taught me a lot. So we're gonna end it out on some Dre. You know what I
There
mean?
we go. Woo. Guess who's back?
One love, West Coast, man.
Good look, bro.
Love you, my
All day.
Yes, sir.